I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast, episode number 77. This one is with Daphna Sebbane out of Austin, Texas. It's kind of on art and design, although I quiz her a hell of a lot about Austin. If you'd like to learn more about Daphna, you can find her online at daphnasebbane.com. That's DAPHNASEBBANE.com. Or you can give her a follow on Instagram with that same handle. Please don't make me say it again. This is a great talk. Make sure if you give her a follow on Instagram, you tell her old Ramblin' Man sent you. No sponsor this week. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and if you really want to help, really want to give back, really want to show support, find Black-owned businesses in your community and support them, but don't just support them now and get a pat on the back. Support them in perpetuity. And if you'd like to give any money, go to blacklivesmatter.com and give money there. Find a local chapter and do what you can, no matter what. Thank you again for listening. Without much further ado, here's the episode. You're based in Austin, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So are you originally from Austin, or did you move there?
No, I moved to Austin. Actually, I have quite a bit of a background. I was born in Israel.
Okay.
So born in Israel, lived in South Africa, and then came to the U.S., but my family is actually from France, so most of them live there. So
Lord.
it's like,
Hold on. I'm gonna write all this down on my whiteboard behind me. A flow chart of.
yeah,
Okay, born in Israel.
yes,
Were your folks living in Israel at the time, or?
they were, yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, at the time they were living in Israel, and then when I was about like 3 or 4, we moved to South Africa and lived there for a couple of years, and then moved to the U.S. When I was like in elementary school. So I've been here for quite some time.
Okay.
But I lived in Florida before coming to Austin. Yeah.
Welcome to America. Here's Florida. Jesus.
Yeah.
What took him from Israel to South Africa? Was it work or?
It was work. And then also my mom really just loves to move around a lot. She wanted to experience different places, different cultures. So I think at a young age, she wanted to expose us to all that. So we just moved around.
Okay.
That's great.
Where in Florida? I have to know where in Florida.
We lived in Boca Raton, which is a little bit south of West Palm Beach, I think. It's not far from West Palm Beach.
Are your parents 170 years old? Because isn't Boca Raton a retirement community?
It is. I know. I would never live there again. As a kid, it's not the greatest place. Like, yeah, we had the beach and all, but it's not. Yeah. There's just a lot of older people that live there.
Yeah. It's like watching Golden Girls, but not as fun.
Yeah. And I'm just not a fan of Florida anymore. So I love Disney World. Don't get me wrong. I will go to Disney World, but that's it.
I will say, so I have friends who live in St. Augustine, Florida, and that is a great city.
It's beautiful in St. Augustine. I've been there. Yeah.
And it's weird because the first time I went down there, I think it's when they got married. That was the first, they got married in St. Augustine. They moved from Knoxville down to St. Augustine. And it was weird because like during the day, it's so touristy. Mm-hmm. And then at night, it's a college town. So we were sitting at a cigar bar at like 2 a.m. and all of a sudden everybody was drunk. And shittily smoking cigars. And I was like, what is happening? We're the old men with their shorts hiked up to their chest, like that I saw earlier. And my friends were like, no, this is how it is. It's weird. It's like,
That's
oh,
weird.
yeah. But yeah, saying, okay, so Boca Raton, so you kind of spent time there. Did you go away somewhere to college or?
I stayed in Austin, actually. I went to college in Austin. So
Okay.
I've been here for almost 15 years, around there. So it's been quite some time. I've been in Austin for quite some time.
So it was also your folks moved to Austin. You didn't move to Austin on your. Okay. Okay. So 15 years. So you got on it right as it was starting to rise.
Yeah. I've seen Austin change quite a bit.
Yeah. There's I'm trying to think. It would have been around that time. Austin was already on the come up, and there was a few articles written that my city, Knoxville, Tennessee, was the new Austin because we had a great music scene and all this stuff. And one of my friends who's a musician, he's like, no, we're not. He's like, we're our own thing. Just let us be our own thing. Yeah. Just leave us the hell alone, man. It's 15 years. I'm trying to think. My buddy Rich moved there 7 or 8 years ago, I think. And even then it was like, he has talked about the growth and change he's seen even in that time.
Yeah.
So as someone who's been there 15, what has that been like seeing like the tech industries and stuff start to come in?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I think it's great for people who, like I am in design, so it's good to have all these like tech jobs come into the city, but it's also like kind of losing a little bit of the Austin culture that we had.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the growth. I think it's important for a city to grow and, change a little bit, but Austin will still be like this special place I have in my heart.
Yeah. It's kind of wild because God, here I go again. I'm just selling my city. I'm the Knoxville Tourism Board just here one by one. I'm sure. Do you follow the folks with Hellcats?
Yes.
Clark and Brittany. Mm-hmm. So I went and visited them and interviewed them. And I swear to God, half the interview was me just saying, well, Knoxville's awesome, guys. Y'all just come on up. And by then, Clark was like, I guess we're going to Knoxville. I was like, hell yeah, man. Come on. I got a spare bedroom. Y'all can crash. I don't care. But it's seeing the growth here, too, of like when I was growing up, the downtown, like all the windows had iron bars on them, and the main park downtown had like heroin addicts and stuff in it. And now it's like families come and eat at a trendy place. I'm like, this is all too weird for me.
How far is it from Nashville?
3.5 hours.
Okay.
So another weird factoid about Knoxville is we kind of hate Nashville, and we kind of hate being compared because everybody you meet is like, oh, I know Tennessee at Nashville. I was like, no, we ain't Nashville. I always describe Tennessee as California on its side. Like it's,
oh, okay.
It's three distinct, Memphis is lowlands and blues music and stuff. Nashville is the plateau and country music, and then East Tennessee is like roots and Americana and punk for some reason and metal. Yeah, cool. And we're in the mountains, so it's insane. But so okay, so you all moved to Austin. So when you moved, how old were you when you all moved?
Austin?
Yeah.
I was about in elementary school, so
okay,
or middle school. It was more middle school. I actually went to elementary school in Florida, and then when I went to Austin, I was in middle school. Yeah.
So that still would have been a little bit young to kind of know that it was a cool city to go to.
A little bit. It was, a little bit. But then when I went to college, that was like 7 years ago. So I discovered that Austin was pretty.
So I'm trying. What the school you went to there? Did you go to an art school or did you go to one of the major universities?
I went to the University of Texas at Austin.
Okay. Okay. Here's where we're going to get into an argument. Oh wait, is Austin where Texas is? Like
UT,
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's where we get an argument. UT. That's not the real UT. I'm just kidding. University of Tennessee.
Oh, University of Tennessee.
Yeah. UT. Your all's is the fake UT. You know, you even got the fake orange. Like ours is the real orange, man. The bright, ugly.
We have the burnt orange. We have the nice burnt orange.
No, you need the neon orange where you can see it coming from a million miles away, man. That's that's the real. Okay, so you went to University of Austin. What was your major? Like, did you study art or design?
Yeah, so actually I studied design at the university. They had a design program and my focus was more so in graphic design. So I do a lot of illustration work, but I consider myself more as a graphic designer. I've had formal training in graphic design. So,
okay. And
I just kind of play with illustrations along with my, with type and other, graphic design. So I'm going to go backwards again. I bounce everywhere. So kind of what got you into art? Were you into art as a kid and drawing? Yeah, I was. I was always, when I was younger and like high school, I was always in an art class. I knew I wanted to be in something creative. Mm-hmm. And then when I decided to go to college, I didn't want to be like an artist because I didn't think that was going to like give me too much money as I got older. Like it was very up and down. That's what I've heard of artists. So I decided to do design and study graphic design.
Okay. And that's so when you were a kid and kind of doing art, were you like in middle school and high school, did they have good art programs to kind of foster that in you, or did you kind of have to do it on your own?
They had good art programs, but I did have to do a lot on my own. Like they had AP art classes and stuff in high school, but I kind of just did things on my own.
Okay. And so you go to college, you're looking around trying to figure out the major. Was there anything else that seemed appealing to you that was completely like out of left field, like elementary education? Maybe I'll be in elementary school teacher or something.
No, actually, the thought of being a teacher terrifies me. No.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I always knew I wanted to do something creative, and then design, like I kind of just was set in doing something with design and just kind of went for it. Applied to UT and then applied for the design program and then sort of just went from there.
Okay. How much I'm going to switch from saying UT, I'm going to say Texas versus Tennessee.
Okay.
So how much of, because I'm going to compare and contrast a little bit. So how much when you go into that program, are you still doing a lot of stuff by hand, or are you immediately like starting on the computer and working?
No. So about 2 years, you do stuff by hand. You do a lot of like actually traditional art classes. You take a lot of art history classes as well. And then junior and senior year, that's when you start actually going into the computer and learning all the programs and doing design work.
Okay. That's how it is at Tennessee too. Mm-hmm. So I'm much older. So I actually started in graphic design. My high school was kind of a rough high school, and we had a vocational department because most of the kids weren't going to college. Mm-hmm. So it was auto mechanics, electronics, upholstery, woodworking, drafting, but they had a print shop. So when I started high school in 1992, there was only 2 computers in the entire school. So yeah, and they were the old Mac Classic. Yeah. And so I was like, well, I want to work in computers. So it's either drafting or graphic design or print shop. So I took print shop. And then we actually worked for real clients and did work for like, I love, because I go back and talk to the kids a lot. I was like, we worked on these for this company that did these things called pagers. and that none of them know what pagers are.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what a pager is?
I know what a pager is.
Okay. Hey, God. I was like, oh my God,
I'm
man.
I mean, I'm in my 30s, but I'm not.
Okay.
I know what a pager is.
So it was a pager company called Volcom. And I was like, so anytime I see kids with the Volcom like skateboard shirts, I laugh my butt off. I was like, I did work for them in the 90s. Different company. But so I did that for 4 years. So when it came time to go to college, Tennessee was, you don't touch a computer for 2 years, everything by hand. I was like, I'm not great I've had art since 7th grade, but I'm not good at the hand stuff. So I went to another school that was a technical community college where it was like day one, you're working on a computer. I was like, I got to learn Photoshop. I got to learn, because in 1996, it was my thought, and this is silly to say now, I was like, computers are the future. I need to learn how to operate this thing. And saying that to kids now is hilarious, because I'm sure they're, on a phone, the computing power is stronger than any computer I used in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so, okay, so you go there to Texas and you're graduating, and do they do any like placement or anything, or how was the job market back then for design?
It was okay. Like they didn't really help you find a job. You were kind of on your own. We did have to do, in order to graduate, you were required to do an internship.
Right.
So I actually did an internship with the Blanton Museum of Art, which is part of the UT. It's their museum. So that was really cool. Being a graphic designer intern at a museum was super interesting. And then once I graduated, I actually took another internship working for a slot machine manufacturer. So I worked there. Yeah. And then that was kind of like my first job. I moved up and worked there for 5 years as a graphic designer. We made video games for slot machines. Okay.
Did you do like the interactive stuff on the video game, or did you did like the skin or shell that went on the outside?
So I actually worked on the marketing team, and I did a lot of the collateral to help sell the game, did all the marketing, and so I was the graphic designer on the marketing team.
Okay. You did that for 5 years. So at the end of that was it like, I have to get the hell out of here, I can't do this anymore?
Well, yes, and also COVID-19 hit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Remember 6 months ago.
Has it only been that long? It feels like 3 years. I don't know.
Yes, Mom. But yes, actually, the pandemic hit, and I got laid off from that job and had to figure out life.
Yeah.
A designer again. But I was freelancing as well, so I had that as a backup.
Okay.
So yeah, like it was kind of bittersweet. Like it was my first like actual like graphic design job. It was like 5 years, so I was already pushing it. And then when COVID-19 happened, it kind of just was just like, well, I guess it was meant to be. It was time to move on.
It's, I say this as someone who's been running my own business now for 4 years. It's the best thing. Cause I got laid off too. I was working for, I'm trying to remember where in Texas that paper was. I was working for a newspaper corporation that owned 14 papers across the country. And, what was it? Times Record News. I can't remember what the city was. It was a smaller city, but we had 14 papers, and I did the branding and marketing design for all those papers, and they got bought out by USA Today. And at first they were like, well, we're going to wrap you into the fold and you're going to be part of the company. And the minute the sale passed the SEC federally, they brought us into a room the next day at 10 a.m. and said, you're all let go. You got 3 months. And it was funny because they're like, you have 3 months where you're still going to, do your job and everything while we transition. And then a month in, they came in because my team was only 3 of us. or 4 of us. And they were like, "Oh, you all do a lot more work than we thought. So can you show us how you do all this work with only 4 of you?" And I said, "No." Yeah. Well, because I'm a dickhead. I started coming into work at 11, would take lunch at noon for an hour and a half, and then go home at 5 every day because I was salary. I was like, I don't care. Y'all are firing me anyway. And they were like, "Well, how do you do this, this, and this?" I was like, "You just do it. You be good at what you do." And they did not like that. But 4 years down the line, knock on wood, it's the best thing. I know it's stressful and it's scary when it happens, but it is the best thing in the world.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. When it happened, so I got laid off in July. So I actually in March, I got furloughed because everything just kind of like shit hit the fan in March. And then in July, they were just kind of like, "Yeah, we're just letting you go." And actually, I got it through an email.
Oh,
so
God.
That you got sat down in person with a little bit more respect, but I got an email.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Not even a phone call, but.
Was that company a bigger company or was it like a smaller mom and pop?
No, it's a big company. There's about over 1,000 employees.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the marketing team was so small. There was only 5 of us.
Yeah.
So, and that always happens. Marketing is always cut first. Like we spend the most money. Companies freak out. They're like, "Wait a minute, you guys are spending all this money. So we're going to be the first to go."
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah. Oh, man. An email. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a feeling it was coming.
Yeah.
I was prepared to find some other things.
Not to dwell on COVID. So how has it been living in Texas during the times of COVID? Because I know Austin's kind of an outlier. Like if you start getting into West Texas, it gets crazy, but.
Yeah, Austin's an outlier. I mean, Austin's actually been pretty okay with COVID right now. Like our numbers have dropped, but I mean, it's so up and down.
Yeah.
So I think it's been okay. I think more people here will wear a mask, more so than maybe the outskirts, but.
So we are struggling here. Do you know much about wrestling, like WWE? Okay. Have you ever heard the Undertaker? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Okay. And on wrestling, he had a brother named Kane that was red and black and just as big as him. Do you recognize the name Kane at all?
I do recognize the name Kane, yeah.
So he is our county mayor. Kane is our county mayor.
Okay.
And currently, he is trying to disband our health department because they are not allowing him to open businesses back up fully.
Oh.
Because we have, in Knoxville, we have like record numbers of cases. Outer counties are, Knoxville is a city, when you look at the map of like the voting thing in 2016, Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga were like this color blue, if not brighter.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, crimson. So that's why I say I understand Texas. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. But here it's like the governor allowed all of the small counties to reopen back up like 3 months ago. He's like, y'all shouldn't have problems.
Yeah.
And those are the people who don't wear masks and don't do the distance. And I was like, no, they are the ones that are going to have the damn problems. So
yeah. And actually, Texas opened pretty early as well.
Did they?
Yeah, we opened up pretty much. Yeah.
So how about you? Are you and your family kind of staying safe and staying in?
I'm super careful. I'm around my nephew who's a year and a half. So I would like hate to, I know they say kids aren't really affected by it, but I don't know. Like he's so young. I would hate to bring anything, have him get sick. And then I have a friend who had a double mastectomy and she was battling breast cancer. So it's like, I want to be cautious of the people I'm around and make sure that I, wear a mask if I do go out, but I'm pretty good about staying away.
That's what a buddy and a couple of buddies of mine and I were talking last night about it. And I said, it's so weird hearing like anti-mask people talk about it, because I have a sister and a mom who both have heart issues. And I was like, I'm not going to do anything stupid because I want to still see them.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is, when you hear reports, even people who are somewhat healthy, knock on wood, they still have like long-term lung issues. And I was like, I don't want to have that. What the hell are you talking about? Like, it's like, you'll get past it. I was like, and have long-term health issues.
Yeah, I don't want it either. Yeah.
No.
You see the damage that it can do to people's lungs and even hearts. Like, I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I'm, a healthy young person and I still don't want that. Like,
no, hell no. And it's been interesting I'm curious how it is among your friends. Like my friends, it's either one extreme or the other. Like they're the people who will not leave their house and have not left their house since March. Or the other people, they're like, no, I still go to Walmart every day and do this.
Oh, I think my friends are pretty good. I'm around people who have who've been staying inside. Like they won't go to parties or like go to a restaurant. But I mean, they'll go to the grocery store wearing a mask and stuff. But that's really it. I don't even go to the grocery store. I just get my stuff delivered because I don't want to go inside a grocery store. But yeah, they're pretty good. My friends are pretty good about it.
Okay. I'm finally hitting a point because my friends have been so good. I've told a few of them, I was like, I think I'm going to do I have a pretty decent size like front and side yard. I was like, here's what we're going to do. It's about to get cold. I'm going to make chili, set it out in the middle. You bring your own bowl, you bring your own silverware and your toppings, and let's just sit around the front yard, 10 feet apart, and like 10 people, like 5 couples or something. And just, because this is driving me nuts. The whole Zoom thing is driving me absolute bonkers.
But I think it's okay if you do stuff outside. See, I'm more comfortable going outside and maybe going on a social distant hike with a friend. Like I will do stuff like that, but like having a get together inside is kind of stupid.
Yeah. I had a friend, I've been trying to stay outside as much as possible, but I had a friend that came in town from Colorado that she's been being safe out there and she needed to get away. So we got a cabin in North Georgia for a few days. And we essentially got up, went hiking, and then cooked food at the cabin. But when she came, she wanted to see Knoxville a little bit. And I took her to a few places, and there was only one place where we had to go and sit inside. It's this really cool speakeasy bar in a hotel where you actually have to have a passcode to get in.
Oh, nice.
And all that. But man, I went to the door, and the bouncer guy was like, okay, you got to have your masks on all the time except for when you're sitting there drinking. He was like, if a server comes up, you need to put that mask on. And they're like, and you have 90 minutes. At 90 minutes, you got to go.
They're super strict about it.
Yes. And they were hardcore about it. And it was good to see somebody taking it seriously, considering we walked past 6 restaurants where their patios were elbow to elbow with people in tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I appreciate seeing, and then we went a couple other places, and all those we were able to sit outside. And I was like, yeah, this is fine because we're all spaced out. We're not elbow to elbow. One of them, it's a historic theater, or it's a restaurant next to a historic theater, and the little walkway to get into the theater, they took it over and put tables. So I'm literally sitting there with the theater door right here. I was like, this is awesome. But it is interesting seeing the difference in, okay, this place, everybody is sitting together, even though they don't know one another. That sucks. We're not going there. And just keep moving down the line until you find some place that's taking it seriously. So, I know very little about Austin. You're now going to be my ambassador for Austin on this episode. So,
okay.
It's pretty flat, right?
Austin?
Yeah.
It's hilly, but it's not like there's not like mountains or anything. It's just hilly. Yeah.
Because you mentioned hikes and is there a lot of good nature areas around, even though the city keeps growing? Like, are there still some good nature preserve areas around there?
There are. We have the green belt, which is really beautiful. And like Texas has a lot of watering holes. So a lot, like a little bit outside of Austin, there are some places and like state parks and stuff. So there are quite a few cool hiking spots.
Okay. Yeah, it's very green here, even though we're in October. And taking her around was kind of funny because she was like, good Lord. She's like, am I going to get mosquito bites? I was like, nah, we've had a frost. You're good now. Like, but everything was super green and still super lush. And now it's finally starting to change color a little bit. But
does it snow there? Does it get really cold?
If I want to get political and say, yes, it used to. And now, because of something called global warming, it does not. Like, we are lucky to get one snow a year, and it's like an inch of snow, and it's gone by the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
And growing up, like, there was a point when I was in, I think, middle school or high school where we had this blizzard, and it was like 24 inches of snow in a few hours.
Oh, wow.
So that was like 25 years ago. And now we're lucky to have an inch of snow every year.
Wow. That's
like
drastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the only problem with that is the joke here is if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes because it'll be, I always go back to, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. On Monday, it was 85 degrees and raining. On Tuesday, it was 3 degrees and frozen.
Oh,
and then on Wednesday, it was like 64 degrees and sunny.
Wow.
And that was in March. Like, it was the craziest weather. So yeah, it varies a lot here. Like a lot for the last like 10 years, it's been rainy and warm on Christmas Day, which bums me out. Like, like I want it to be cold and snowy. But yeah, it kind of varies. Here it gets, I'm trying to remember, we get in the height of the summer, it used to get over 100, but now it's usually the high is about 98, 99, but 100% humidity. Like, yeah. Where I would take a shower, walk out my door, and then be like, why did I take a shower? This is disgusting. But then in the wintertime, I think the lowest it gets is around 3 single digits, 3 to 9. Yeah.
That's such a drastic difference.
Yeah. God, these are all stupid questions. Is Austin pretty dry or is it pretty humid too?
It can be humid and dry. Like it fluctuates.
Yeah.
It's always super humid, but I think it's more humid than dry.
But my buddy Rich, he keeps wanting me to come out and crash on his couch for a few days and hang out and see Austin. And I was like, I'll come anytime except for the summer. I ain't coming out there. I wear shorts in the wintertime, damn it. I ain't coming to Austin in the summertime, man. And he laughs because he was like, dude, it's 98 and 100% humidity where you're at. It's like, don't care.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot here.
Yeah. So Austin, so you're living there, folks. Do your folks still live there or have they moved away again?
My mom actually moved to Santa Barbara, California. So she's
another retirement.
I know. But she went there. And then my sisters actually live in Austin. So, yeah. We're pretty much the only ones in the U.S. in my family. And then everyone else is in France. Yeah.
So with having people abroad, now I'm talking about pre-COVID times, are you able to get out of the country and go visit family a lot?
My mom actually does. It's been a while since I've visited France. And I was hoping to go sometime soon, like even this year, but when everything shut down, that's like not even possible. So eventually I'll go back and see family.
Okay. So when it comes to art or design, again, this is Rambling Man, so I just ping pong wherever the brain takes me. Where do you draw inspiration? Like for me, I like to travel a lot and I will take pictures or pull colors and stuff. So for you, Like, where do you draw some of that inspiration or ideas?
Yeah, and I do the same actually. I draw a lot of inspiration from travel. Every year, I typically try to do a couple trips just to get that inspiration. Unfortunately, this year it's just no trips. But and every year I go to New Orleans, and I always draw inspiration from that city. The architecture, those beautiful doors from the French Quarter, a lot of that colors and stuff. I'll take that for inspiration. And then I get a lot of inspiration through like mystical things, like the occult, just like anything that has a little bit of like mystery or something to it.
In that vein, have you ever made it to Savannah or Charleston?
No, but I would love to go there. Yeah.
So I've never made it to New Orleans or Louisiana, but I've been to both Savannah and Charleston's like food mecca at this point. Mm-hmm. And Savannah can get creepy as shit. Like it's wild. Like I love it a lot. Like it's like Charleston feels more like a tourist, this is regal and expensive, but man, Savannah still has some back alleyways where it's like, oh, no, I'm not going down there, man. That's scary as shit. But yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I think you'd like both of those a lot. And they're pretty close. Like post-COVID time, I think they're just a few hours away. Like you could do a twofer in one trip if you drove.
Cool.
So when you travel, are you a driver or are you a flyer?
I do both. I'll do road trips, but typically I'll fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot of friends over in the UK and Europe, and they make fun of me because I'll drive to Nashville for a show and back on like a Tuesday. And it's 3.5 hours. And they're like, what in the hell is wrong with you? It's like, why would you drive 3.5 hours? Like, hell, I've driven 10 hours for a show.
Yeah. 3.5 hours isn't long. No. I would drive that.
You drive 3.5 hours. You're still in Texas.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it takes like 8 hours, 9 hours to get out of this damn state.
Oh my God. Now, I have heard from friends, do you ever get up to Dallas, Fort Worth? I've heard Dallas has a great art scene.
And they have a lot of museums. I don't really go up there. Mm-hmm. I've been once, but Houston actually has a lot of amazing museums as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge baseball nut, and I'm trying to get to all the stadiums. And one of them was trying to figure out a way to like go up to like St. Louis and then back down to St. Louis, Kansas, and then back down to Texas to see a couple games. Of course, I was going to do that this year, and of course, that did not happen. But yeah, and then my plan was stay with Rich for a few days in Austin, then drive over to New Orleans since I'd never been and check it out.
Yeah. I hear someone told me that they knew someone that went to New Orleans like a couple weeks ago, and they said it's like a ghost town. There's like,
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because of COVID, everyone's away, but yeah.
See, I'm shocked because I'm curious do you know what Dollywood is?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, thank God. So those are neighboring cities to me. It's called Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. Pigeon Forge is where Dollywood is. It's all Sevier County. And then Gatlinburg is almost like a kind of a mountain town that has a main strip down, and it's shops and restaurants. And when I was growing up, it's all local shit. And now you go and it's a Starbucks. It's a, Hard Rock Cafe, that kind of bullshit. And moonshine has become a huge thing there. So I'm surprised about the New Orleans thing because those two cities have never stopped throughout all this. Dollywood is still open. Like it's insane. And the case numbers just keep going up and up and up there. So that's kind of shocking that New Orleans, that tourists aren't
maybe
flocking.
It was that week that person went. I don't know. But
yeah. Oh my God. I got to stop talking about COVID. Good Lord.
I know, because that's like everything is COVID related now because that's just our lives.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to products because you produce a lot of products. Mm-hmm. I still actually have there's one of your stickers. I'm like, damn it, I want to get that sticker too that I had pulled up to remember, but it was right before I went out of town. So when you produce, what made you start producing products for your art?
Yeah, actually, it was just a lot of people were asking for the stuff to be like either posters or stickers. And I was just like, yeah, I'll give it a try. Like, why not? It'd be cool to have some of my stuff out there on some merch. And it just kind of started from there. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that been something that you've liked doing? Because you kind of put your stuff, like I'm seeing a giant blanket behind you. Like, have you enjoyed being able to do like crazy different things?
Yeah, I have. And I'll do a lot of collabs with other companies. So they'll produce the stuff, which is, I find a lot easier than me having to go out and like actually, Well,
and the other thing is also storing it all in your place.
That too. Exactly.
I wonder if I can show you. So I got, in this times of COVID, I got a bookcase to put stuff, but I found these see those little containers there that they fit perfectly in those shelves. So I'm a big fan of Sticker Mule. So I do any of their weekly deals.
Yeah, I do. I always grab one of their deals. Yeah, they have them up every week. It's amazing.
So I've been like ordering and hoarding like stickers and stuff that I've designed. And sometimes I've used it as a prompt. Like, okay, it's clear stickers this time. Clear die cut stickers. What can I do with that? And figure out some kind of piece of art.
Yeah.
Excuse me for it. But yeah, having to store them all, it's getting to the point where I'm like, I got to be done with this.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's hard to store, especially posters. It's really hard to store posters to keep them like super safe and like that they don't bend and stuff. So
I will say I have found luck. I collect a shit ton of posters. Like I have an insane amount of posters, and they were all just laying on the spare bed. And I was like, I got to do something with this, man. And so I found these big archival boxes from B&H Photo that are like 40 by 30. And now I had to buy 3 of them. That's how many posters. And that's not even mine. That's ones I purchased. And they all, because also framing is a nightmare. It's expensive as shit. So now I just have all those stacked in there under my bed, and all 3 of them are full. Like I just got a third one. I was like, damn it. I thought I was going to have a little bit of room, but I guess not.
Yeah.
But yeah, a friend of mine keeps looking at getting a flat file. And he was like, I can't pull the trigger. It's too expensive.
Those are expensive. Yeah, that would be amazing. But I think you would also need the space for it too.
Yeah. What all kinds of things have you put your art on? Like the blanket? Like what's the weirdest thing you've put it?
I don't know about the weirdest, but the coolest thing was actually collabing with a wakeboard company called Hyperlight and have some of my designs on a wakeboard.
Okay.
I think that was I wouldn't say weirdest, but something that I never thought I would have.
Yeah.
And that was super fun. Probably one of my favorite projects that I've got to work on.
Okay. Are you hitting a point where people are actually coming to you to do artwork on things, or are you working towards that?
No, that's how I get those collaborations is people are reaching out to me and wanting to get it done. So
okay.
Cool.
And you've got a very distinct style. Like how did you end up like narrowing it down to that? Did you try a bunch of different things and that's the one that felt most natural? And it's just like before a couple of years ago, I kind of went on this journey on Instagram, just like posting like daily designs, just like doing whatever, having fun with it, kind of playing with the stuff that I love, like the mystical art and all that. And then sort of just building my style from there. And it just kind of evolved. Okay. And do you like repeat a lot of things, or do you try to kind of figure out like I've done enough, like and I'm not going to pick like hands just because I see hands right there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've done enough hands. I got to do something else and try and figure something else. Do you push yourself within that?
Yeah, I do. I like doing hands because it's something I enjoy doing. But
Yeah.
I'll take on other projects. I like doing a lot of like animals,
Okay.
trying to do like tigers and all that. But the hands is just kind of like something I
Okay.
enjoy doing.
And I didn't mean to pick on that. It was just the first thing I saw.
Yeah, and it's like right behind me too.
Yeah.
So.
It's massive. Yeah. So with that, do you have people kind of in the back of your mind, like eventually I want to do art for this person, like musicians or artists or anything?
For sure, I do. I would love to do like posters or stuff for. They're not even a band anymore, but the Mars Volta. I don't know if you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. They came up on another one because, or maybe it was, hell, maybe I told you, you may have posted about them where I said I saw them in Atlanta at an abandoned church.
Yes, we talked about this.
It was you. Yeah.
It was me.
Yeah. That I was like, man, I still miss that damn band, man.
Yes.
But they may come back. God, the two of them do whatever the hell they want.
They may come back, exactly. And I would love to do art for them. And actually, something really cool happened last year where I got in touch with Cedric on Instagram, and he really liked one of my pins, and I sent him some of my artwork and stuff, and it was super cool. So that was like a moment.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. But I would love to do artwork for them, or like even at the drive-in, anything like that. So, are there any artists or designers that you kind of look up to, that you kind of look at them and like, I kind of want to be where they're at, or there are aspects of what they're doing? That, like, kind of a good example would be like Draplin, to be like, to me, he'd be like, I'm going to do a sunset where it's literally just 4 bars, and I'm going to produce a poster, and it's going to sell out. Yeah, I think, Draplin's one of them. I actually have one of his books. He's really great. And I've seen him speak at a lot of events. Like I've seen him at Adobe Max. He's come to Crop Austin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that conference?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if that's the one that there's somebody, it's sad that some people I only know by their username. I think it's Stay Gray Pony Boy.
Yeah. It's Matt Dawson. Yeah.
Yes. He and I have talked a lot because he's in Louisiana, I think, isn't he? Or did he move?
He actually moved to Austin.
Okay. So he and I have talked a lot on there, and he's hilarious. Yeah. Okay. So Draplin. So I was trying to pull it up. I have known Draplin for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And he and I are buddies. And where the hell is it? I got a photo of the two of us that is still the funniest damn thing. Because he it's a lot of beard for one photo.
Yeah, you guys both have the beard.
I'm going to pull it up and see if I can do.
Oh, yeah.
So I have known him for 10 years, and I saw him. There used to be this great conference in Cleveland, Ohio called Weapons of Mass Creation Festival.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. It was awesome, and I'm sad they're not doing it anymore. But he was at the second one of those as the main speaker. And then like 2 weeks later, I saw him at How in Boston. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew who the hell he was because he wasn't somebody yet. And he was just standing over by himself. And I went up, I was like, hey man, I saw you in Cleveland a couple of weeks ago. He's like, oh, cool. He's like, who are you? And I was like, I'm Jody. And he's like, can I hang out with you? I was like, sure, man. Let's go. Let's roll, man. Let's go. And do you know who Chip Kidd is?
Yeah.
So Chip Kidd and I have been friends on Facebook since Facebook began. And I ran into him there too. And I was like, oh shit, you're Chip Kidd. Like just in a lobby. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm a big fan. And he was like, oh, thank you. Like he got all excited. And then when Draplin spoke later at the How conference, he was in this tiny room, and Chip Kidd saw me and came over and sat next to me. I was like, what the fuck is going on with my life right now? Because Draplin's up there giving me shout outs and Chip Kid's sitting here like, isn't he great? I was like, what the fuck is happening right now, man? This is weird, man. This is weird. And then Chip Kid draped himself over me for a photo. I'm 6'7", so he kind of held on to me as like, my boyfriend's going to be so jealous. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, cool, man. This is awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. See, again, I've flipped it back around to me. So Draplin, do you follow Johnny Cupcakes?
I think so. I think that sounds familiar.
T-shirt artist guy. Yeah. He's the best. If you ever get a chance to see him talk, he is the best. He is the most positive, nice human being on the planet. Like, he's great. Now I'm taking over again. So Draplin, who else are other people that have you got to meet? Like with Matt, have you got to meet and talk to Matt Dawson?
Yeah, I've met with him, and actually his work is an inspiration as well. He does some really great logo designs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I've met him a few times, but yeah, I think I've met Draplin once, but he's just a nice guy.
Draplin's he's a rat bastard, and I honestly don't know his name, but he and I chat all the time. It's the guy that goes by Live Design Co. on Instagram. He's based there in Austin too.
He is in Austin. Yeah, I've chatted with him a few times. He does some great work too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and his are hilarious because he'll post like where he's working on like his car or something, and then all of a sudden it'll be this great piece of art, like followed that. Yeah. Like there for a while. It's always funny to me seeing stuff like that. So where you're at now, again, rambling, man, we just go wherever the hell the volley takes us. Where you're at now in creating products or creating art or design work, do you have things that you would eventually, we talked about Mars Volta, but are there other things like, I would eventually like to design this. I would eventually like to design art for this. Like, do you have phases that you're working towards in your work?
Yes. So actually I would love to come out with my own like tarot deck.
Man. Yep.
Yeah.
You'll pre-sell one right here because I'd love to. That would be awesome, man. That would be great.
Yeah, like my own tarot deck. I've actually collaborated with someone from France to do an oracle deck, and I've just completed it. So I kind of had a little sneak peek on my Instagram about it. But I would like to come out with my own tarot deck.
Nice.
And it's a big project. I mean, it's like 42 cards, so it would take quite some time to get it done. But I think maybe that'll be my 2021 goal.
Okay.
Is to get out my own card deck.
Nice. Are there other people that you, outside of like music or anything, because we talked about Mars Volta, but that you're like, I would like to eventually, that somebody off kilter, like, have you ever heard of Mama's Sauce?
Mama's Sauce, yeah.
The printer. Yeah. So I've known Nick for a little while, and I told him, I was like, man, my goal this year is to have you all print a poster. And he was like, that'd be awesome. I was like, I know I'm not big money. I'm not coming in here, printing Draplin number. He's like, I don't give a shit. It'd be great. But now since COVID, I'm like, damn it. It's like, now I don't really feel comfortable spending the money on something like that. But
so you want to do like a partnership with them? Like,
no, I just want to have them print a poster just because it's Mama Sauce and I love the work they do.
Yeah, they do great stuff. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking of something a little bit outside of the realm, that it was because they do collaborations and stuff, and like Hellcat's doing the candles. Like, are there areas you'd like to get into, like more products or more work with people in France, like with?
Yeah, I think working with people from all over the world would be amazing. But actually, I would love to do. I kind of posted something about creating my own like skate deck designs. Nice. I'm not a skateboarder by any means, but I've always had this like I don't know, like a dream to design skate decks. I don't know what it is. So I think maybe like going into that realm a little bit. And then also doing collaborations like Mama Stocks would be great. But have you heard of Industry Print Shop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I've printed with them a few times, but maybe doing an actual collab with them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There are 2 print shops there in Austin. I've met both of them, or I've met one, and my friend Rich is friends with the owner of the other one. Industry, and why am I going to blank on it?
Is it Fine Southern Gentlemen's?
No. Let me see, because I know here we go. Kong screen printing.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're Airport Boulevard, Suite B, Kong screen printing.
Oh, cool.
So my friend is friends with them, but they did this Infinity Pride shirt that I bought. Pride is infinite. Infinite. Good Lord.
Nice.
There
I
you
like
go.
that. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know why I'm holding shit at an angle. I'm like, why don't I hold it to you? And they were selling those on their site. But they're great and they're awesome. Okay. Do you have, as we roll out, do you have any advice you would like to give to someone just starting out in all this?
Yeah, I think the best advice that I can give is just not to give up. Like, throw your stuff out there, put it out there into the world, like show people what you've got, even if it's not that great. Like, you never know. And it's just like, even just like having your own Instagram and just posting daily designs or like little things that you love to do or drawings or whatever. I think it's super important to have passion projects and just show people what you've got, and you never know what can happen.
I think that's a great thing to go out on. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was super fun.